directly streaming, so we'll see what happens.
Okay. We got the background music.
That's it.
What are we listening to?
Honestly, good time.
Huh.
I meant to turn it off actually. Just a little bit. This is Dr. Dog. So.
What do you listen to, Spotify or something like that?
Yeah. I was a big Pandora guy, and then somebody was like, "You gotta try Spotify. You can pick all your songs that you want." No.
See, I've been Pandora since, I don't know, for 10 years.
Yeah, me too.
12 years, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
$4.99 a month. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to pick my songs because I have a hard drive with 750 gigabytes of music.
Oh my God.
That I just hit random all the time when I'm in the house.
Sure.
So Pandora, every once in a while, I find a new artist. How about Pigeons Playing Ping Pong? New band.
Really? I love it.
Jam band. I don't know what kind of music you like.
I'm honestly into pretty much everything.
Okay.
I don't really have a preference in music. So I'm slowly figuring out the Pandora
Premium.
Yeah, the premium, but like the algorithm that allows me to just find new music. So I actually really enjoyed the fact that Pandora would constantly just give you new stuff. This is a little more, they give you the same thing over and over again. Yeah.
You know, Pandora changes their loop every 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
So that I'm a huge fan of. Spotify, I'm still trying to figure it out. You know, you can follow different playlists, and you can make your own playlists and all that kind of stuff. So I just got to do an audio check. I'm just saving one thing here.
Yep. Am I putting on headphones?
You're welcome to put on headphones. I personally put on headphones just so I can hear, and I have to monitor the audio quality.
So is it this one, that one? Doesn't matter.
Either one.
And then this microphone will be mine?
Yep, that's it, baby.
All right. I'm going to make it feel like I'm in the studio.
Trying to make you feel like you're in the studio. Working on getting a new table made. Hopefully a TV's going up in the near future.
Wow.
I
can hear Harrison perfectly.
Yeah. You just move that in between us. Yeah. So, predominantly like a fist or two away. Yeah, there you go.
Something like that.
Yeah. Maybe even just a little closer.
Okay.
Cool.
But then if I get too excited,
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. It's easier to fix overexcited than can't hear you.
What?
Yeah. Let me do a little test here. Testing. Give me a little test.
Test 1, 2. Check. Radio check.
Cool.
Well, that's interesting. So I'm hearing everything. You good?
Oh yeah. That's how you know what you're actually gonna hear. Test here.
Oh, that's that. All right, you heard. So that little, just tapping the.
Yep. Oh yeah. Super sensitive.
That's cool.
All right, we're good to go, brother. You got it all fired up. You ready?
I'm as ready as I'm going to be.
Thanks for coming down.
It's great to be here, Harrison.
Good. Appreciate you're from out east, so it's not a person who had no idea where I was on the map. So that's cool. That's always a nice feeling.
Originally, actually from Massapequa, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
And before that, Hempstead. So,
all right.
But yeah, now I'm a Suffolk County guy.
That's a Suffolk County guy.
Suffolk County guy.
What do you like better?
Or
have you not been out here long?
I've been in Suffolk since '83, so that's a long time.
All right, fair enough.
You know, the beach is the beach. Robert Moses Jones.
Sure.
Their South Shores.
You go to Fire Island at all or no?
Occasionally, yeah.
Occasionally, okay.
Yeah. Friends get a place there once in a while. We'll go. But I spend summers elsewhere. So more weekends on the summer are up City Island, actually.
Where's City Island? Oh, in the Bronx.
In the Bronx, yeah.
What are we doing there? Just hanging out, or
girlfriend lives there, so
nice.
It's cool.
Very nice.
Yeah,
awesome, man.
Little bungalow on the water, same thing.
Sure. Oh, that's cool. All right, interesting. I didn't even know they had that in the Bronx.
Yeah, well, it's City Island's a little place that nobody knows.
Sure.
Although that everybody knows, so it's kind of funny.
Interesting. All right, I'll have to do my homework on that place.
Okay.
So I want to say thank you for bringing me these gifts, because it's, I shouldn't say it's not often, but sometimes some people bring me gifts and they seem to be talking subjects. So I guess explain to people, because not everybody's watching, what you brought for me, because I can't find the common theme here.
There is no common theme. It's total eclectic. I moved last week, so I'm in the process of unpacking.
Sure.
And, it's what I brought and what I really need or don't need. So we were talking about music, and those are dancing bears. So I brought you a dancing bears bumper sticker. Now, I'm presuming don't know what the correlation for the dancing bears are.
No.
So the dancing bears are thematic of the Grateful Dead.
Oh, okay. Very
Right.
cool. Big fan of them.
Oh, cool. Well, you didn't catch the Dancing Bears.
Oh, man.
So,
I don't know too much of the history, but I'll rock out to their music quite commonly.
That's a beautiful thing, because that would be my favorite band if we were going to talk about bands and
Sure.
music. Yeah, I'm what they would call a Deadhead.
I was going to say Big Deadhead. Huh?
Yeah, Big Deadhead. Yeah.
All right, cool.
As have been some of your past guests.
Sure.
Yeah, I looked down the list. I know a couple of names there. So, people that appreciate.
You guys are all guilty.
We're guilty as charged. Yeah, appreciate a good concert, a good long 4-hour, 5-hour concert.
That's awesome.
So the Dancing Bears it was music, and it was something that happened to have been on top, and it's a new place, and I'm not going to put it on a wall. So,
Sure.
That goes to that.
Oh, very cool.
So
appreciate it.
There you go. Yeah.
All right.
I should have brought you a steal the face. I got to steal your face one too. Maybe I'll get that one to you next.
All right. Well, next time you come on,
that'll be that. And then a couple of hockey pucks.
I like it.
So there's an Islanders puck and a Rangers puck. The Rangers puck is actually a game puck.
Yeah.
The Islanders puck was signed by somebody many years ago. Couldn't tell you who because I can't read his writing. But are you a Ranger fan or an Islander fan, or are you even a hockey fan?
I am a hockey fan. If I had to go with the two, it's tough. I was raised as an Islander fan, but I watch more Rangers now.
Okay.
So I'm still I'm a New York fan at heart. I would go see them both on any day of the week.
But who would you root for at Islander Ranger?
Oh God. I feel like I can't answer this appropriately because I feel like somebody's gonna hear it that shouldn't. And I'm going to get yelled at. But you know what?
You got to pick one. And I'll tell you the story as to why you got to pick one. So
I feel like I'd have to go Rangers, honestly. But like marginally more.
Okay. But you can't root for both of them in an Islander Ranger game.
You can't.
It's against the rules. So
I feel like I'd be the kind of guy, though, that buys 2 jerseys, cuts them down the middle, sews them together, and just be like, hey, I'm a New York fan, and paint my face red, white, and blue.
Yeah, you could, and orange, too.
And orange.
You could do that, but then, everybody would want to beat you. So it doesn't work that way. You have to pick one. So,
I would try.
I was a Ranger fan before the Islanders were a team. I mean, the Islanders came into existence, I think, 72.
Okay.
I was a Ranger fan before that. Was a Ranger fan all through junior high school, college. Most of my life, my ex-wife and kids were Islanders fans.
Sure.
I was a Rangers fan.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And I get separated.
Uh-huh.
Go out on my own, whatever it is. I'm living by myself, and I go to a conference, and the Islanders, who in 2007, 8, 9, 10 weren't a very good team.
Yeah.
They got John Tavares' draft pick back in 09, whatever it was. I buy tickets to 4 games, and the guy gives me tickets to 4 games. So now I'm going to 8 Islander games.
Oh, wow.
And I teach at Nassau Community College across the street.
Sure.
So you look on game day, and you can get a ticket for $10.
Yeah,
so,
why not?
I get out of work at 7 or 7:15. The first period ends at 7:30. I'm watching the 2/3 of the game for $10. It's an easy thing to do.
Yeah, why not?
I'm really enjoying going to the barn. I love hockey, favorite sport.
Uh-huh.
And probably 3 or 4 years in now, I'm going to 20 games, 22 games, 24 games.
Oh, wow.
And I'm rooting for the Islanders.
Sure.
But I'm also going to games with my sister's high school boyfriend.
Okay.
All right. And he's been an Islander fan his whole life. So even from way back when we were in high school, I'm a Ranger fan. He's an Islander fan. I'm a Ranger fan. So we're at an Islander Ranger game one year. And there was a great play by the Islanders. And I'm like, yeah. And then the Rangers scored a goal. And I was like, yeah. And he literally punches me like really hard. And he goes, dude, you can't root for both teams.
Oh, my God.
Because you're making me nuts. And I was like, you're right. The question is I've been going to the Islander games probably 4 or 5 years at that point in time. I hadn't been to a Ranger game in years.
Sure.
Except for Islander Ranger games at the Coliseum. I looked at him, and I looked around, and I went upstairs. I bought an Islander jersey and became an Islanders fan.
There you go. I love it.
And that's the story. So you got a Rangers puck and an Islanders puck.
All right. I like it. Yeah. I appreciate the gift.
You're quite welcome. It's my pleasure.
And then we have some additional, a beverage.
A beverage, yes.
A beverage.
Not
Not a normal one for the show, by the way, for anyone that's listening. So if you listen regularly, now's the time to tune this one up.
Oh, okay. So this is not regular at the show. I kind of got the impression that it was in anything way.
Regular as far as drinking, yes. What this is, I've never had this on the show. I've had, I think, literally every other alcohol in the show, whether or not we've talked about it, but not what's in this bottle.
What's in that bottle, which is what my Albanian friend who made it calls moonshine, but it's really grappa.
Yeah,
it is.
It's actually quite tasty.
Well, it's now that it's a little mellow.
Yeah.
So my friend John grows grapes, buys grapes, makes a huge vat of wine every year, and then he cooks down the skins and the yuck and the crap and turns it into grappa. And the way you can tell how good the grappa is by throwing it on the fire. So because it's all alcohol. So that's how they kind of judge how much to cook it down. Yeah, Holy Christmas would be the way to go on this one. This one, I think he cooked it down a little too much, and it's got
a little hot. Firewater.
Serious octane, but it's
So it's funny. You walked in and I saw the bottle, and I had a feeling. I first saw it in the bag, and I was like, oh, okay. Now he brings his own water, whatever. And I was like, all right, interesting bottle to keep it in. But I've seen. I see the eco people; they would carry bottles of water and everything. So I'm like, all right, especially the new fad of the pH water. It's always in glass bottles. So that's what I originally assumed it was. And then you pulled it out and you handed it to me, and I go, I knew what it was just based on the way you handed it to me, and I'm like, I've had it once or twice in my life prior because it's not exactly something that most people can get their hands on. You got to look for it, or you got to know somebody that makes it.
Or you got to go to a good Italian restaurant.
Yeah. And I was like, I think I know exactly what this is. And you're like, oh, it's firewater. And I was like, oh, I smelled it, and I knew it was grappa at that point. And it's definitely some firewater. It's got some heat to it.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the gifts. I'm glad we got to talk about it because these are very sentimental pieces.
Well, that's good. They're sentimental to you, sentimental to me. It's passing along love and joy and happiness and all those.
It's all going up. I'm gonna find a spot on the wall for all of this stuff. So it'll be with me for as long as the day is old.
That's interesting. I love the paint job.
Thanks, man.
I didn't even notice that.
Yes, I painted it one night. Yeah, and we had like two different colored paints, and I took the base color and then the most dark color and painted random blocks, and then mixed the two, and I think there's like 3 or 4 colors up here. I think I added, slowly brought it darker. So
it's kind of interesting. I like it. It's a good look.
Work in progress. Like I said, work in progress.
The whole thing's working, but it's a great studio.
It's my little slice of heaven. It's definitely not your normal office.
Right.
That's for sure.
No.
And actually, it's a good way to roll into it because you are a business expert.
Business value expert. Business experts.
All right, business value expert.
Broad term.
So you've probably never seen anything like this office.
Yeah, I kind of have.
Really?
But not with this. Not with the podcast setup or anything like that.
Just a cool office bar and all the whole.
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
I've appraised 350 companies over the last 20-something years and worked with even more companies than that.
What's the coolest office you ever seen? And I'm not fishing for a compliment.
That's
very curious to see like what would make
cool is a personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
There was one guy that like had the trophies on the wall, which was kind of cool, but kind of when all those heads are staring at you, it was kind of eerie.
Yeah, a little freaky.
There was another guy that was totally into the rainforest and kind of had lots of plants, and it was like the green carpet and the chirping rainforest sound in the background. It was very zen. He was very, very zen.
All right, that's cool.
Walked around in bare feet and stuff.
I would totally do the whole barefoot thing. If I had an office, if I was a baller without a budget, this place, not that it would be different, because it would have the same like chi we'll go with.
Okay.
But I would definitely like go a little more berserk on like the mood lighting and like plants and things of like really, ideally double or triple the size of this office and really go a little nuts with it.
Yeah, you could get ridiculous. There was one guy that was a race. He raced boats on the side, and his desk was like the cockpit of a boat.
That is sick.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That is sick.
That's cool. I've seen some crazy stuff. I've seen IT people do some really strange things too.
Really?
With just monitors and things that are there and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I'm going for 6 monitors on the next computer.
Yeah. You gonna post them all on the wall?
No, I almost want it to be kind of like that cockpit type deal where it's like, boom, I'm in. I just priced out the computer alone, not even the monitors, and it came out to be like $6,000 and change.
Yeah.
So
Is that like a gaming computer too, or?
It is. It could be used for gaming. Predominantly for video editing. Just the more horsepower it's got, and that computer is going to last me for the next 5 to 10 years, easy. Right. Yeah. So for me, to work faster, more monitors, the whole nine. For me, it's a no-brainer. For most people, that's overwhelming. I had 3. 3 was like, I still need maybe 1, maybe 2 more, and now that I have 4, I'm like, 2 more would be like perfect.
So why not go with 2 36-inch televisions instead?
Going with 3, 6. What is it? The 28-inch curved monitors. So it will literally wrap around part of me.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So that's,
the curved monitors are the new in.
They're sick.
Yeah.
They're so sick.
Those TVs are also, they're crazy.
So sick.
The pictures like.
I can't even believe that they're doing this. Like the OLED screens now, I don't know if you've seen them, but they are better than reality.
They're more real than reality. It's like you could reach out and touch them, but
yeah. The quality, you're talking 4 to 8K quality on some. The new 8K ones are ridiculous. You're talking 8K quality. Every pixel turns off individually. Like it's as real, and they keep making it better. So I'm curious to see what the next gen is going to be. But it's just like
you could go broke keeping up. That's the problem.
Yes. Well, that's their goal.
Yeah. Well,
not their goal, but.
Well, it's, if you're an iPhone person, you got to get online to get the next iPhone the day it goes out. That's sort of the next.
And then it craps out after 2 years, just when the new one comes out.
It doesn't necessarily crap out if you take care of it. So.
All right. I beat mine up, maybe. So you brought some paperwork here.
I got stuff. Yeah, I got stuff.
Fire away. Let's hear it. I want to hear about
stuff. My whole thing is helping people, whether it's business owners, whether it's people in business, whether it's my students at college, because I do teach college as well. When somebody advances the needle, and I've had something to do with that, there's no better feeling. It really, really is.
I couldn't agree more.
So valuing 350 businesses, 340 something businesses over the last 20 years, seeing how business owners make money and understanding what's below that, the underlying value drivers, if you will, that's kind of what it's all about from a business perspective. I mean, I sent you something else, which I don't have a copy of, which was the $1 Million Habits.
I'm gonna pull it up real quick.
Which is also something that kind of I live by now. And it was written by a book, Robert Ringler, I think, wrote the book years and years ago. But it was something that always stuck with me in terms of how to live your life and how to, do unto others. When we were walking outside, we were talking about just litter and population and things like that. And it's all about trying to make things better at the end of the day. So that's kind of where I'm coming from, whether it's valuing and appraising a business. Whether it's $1 Million
Habits right here.
Yeah.
Reality, attitude, perspective, present living, morality, human relations, simplicity, drain people.
Elimination.
What is that?
Okay, so you have any people in your life that suck the life out of you?
Not many, honestly.
Well, those people don't belong in your life to begin with.
Yeah.
So when you learn to identify those people, whether it's a family member or someone that you're in a relationship with, whether it's a friendship relationship or a need relationship, there comes a point in time where reason, season, lifetime fits in, and we could get into that. But you need to get that person out of your life. How do you do that? Well, sometimes you could do it gently. Sometimes you could ignore them and they'll go away and they'll find someone else to latch onto. The person that always has to borrow money from you. I don't know if you have one of those people.
No, I don't. I've recently said one. I've really never lend money to unless I know that they're good for it, and they've always been good for it. And vice versa. If I need money, I don't have cash, whatever it is. Hey, can I borrow some money?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There's those. I have those people. The people that I have even the slightest inkling for that will not pay me back do not get even the option to borrow money.
Right. I understand that.
And then what was the flip side of that also?
Well, it's, are you going to be in a relationship with someone who continually asks you for money or whatever? So I have a longtime friend, 40 something years, who always needed money. And he was good about paying it back. Can you lend me $5? Can you lend me $1,000? Whatever it is.
Sure.
Okay, sure, no problem, RK. You got it. $500, and the guy disappears for 6 months. And where are you?
Sure.
So he paid me back eventually, but it was a matter of, look, do me a favor, don't ask me again, because the answer is going to be no.
Yep.
So that's an elimination of a drain person, because you're going, oh man, the guy owes me $500, or you're negative in there, and then you don't need those negative emotions.
Sure.
So if you can eliminate drain people, people that are sucking your chi, if you will, you live a little bit better. Reality is the best one. Live in the truth, live in the present, live in the moment. Because it's all fragile,
live in the moment is big. We, a buddy, actually a recent podcast guest, I don't know if you know him, Jeff Nagel.
Know the name.
He's a wealth advisor for AVZ, and we went out to James, Joyce, and Patrick the other day, and just to grab a bite to eat. We're gonna go have a cigar, and we're sitting at the bar, and I kid you not, they're at the bar. This table I can kind of understand. We're sitting at the bar, and there's 4 grown adults, 25 to 35 years old. I would guess their ages, all sitting there on their phones. They're not even talking. And the most irritating part about the whole thing was they weren't even texting. They were on Facebook, scrolling through like that was more interesting than everybody else's company.
That's just too bad.
And he goes, would you just look at it? I go, I wish I could be surprised, but because I deal with so much social media anyway, it doesn't surprise me at all. But he's like, I just don't understand. I'm like, dude, I just gave up trying. If that's how people want to value their time, they're the ones that have to live with at the end of the day that they didn't spend the time with the loved ones or friends.
Right.
Because you don't know what's going to happen after lunch. That person might, and not to sound morbid, but something may happen to them on the way.
Well,
a car accident, something like that.
What if today or yesterday is the day that everything changes? How do you look at what happened?
Yep.
And how do you look at how you are in the scheme of the world and those things?
So, I hung out with them, but I was on my phone the whole time on Facebook. It's like, well, what value did that bring? Was that really worth it?
Right.
To sit there and be in that other person's presence, and it's just, that is depressing.
Yeah. Well, too many people are on Facebook instead of outside of Facebook and using it for whatever
living
it is.
Life.
I have a Facebook account, but I think I check it once every month lately, and then probably not even that with buying the new business.
Sure.
I was on it about 3 weeks ago. I saw it, and I looked. Okay, that's it. I had 5 minutes. I was like, let me see what's there, what's new.
Nothing's changing.
Not really. No, my girlfriend's on. She posts. People know that. If you want to know what we were eating this weekend, we'll put the food on. We'll put our adventures on, and that's kind of it.
That's all you need.
That's it. That's what's going on.
Sure.
So
people that spend more time on social media typically are less happy.
Well, that's a given, and interesting fact. I teach college. 4 years ago, I started noticing in the morning or before class, more students were not interacting with each other. They were interacting with their phone. And when you're interacting with your phone, you're not developing a human relationship. Ineffective communication is the biggest problem. And I know so many college students that don't understand the need to have the ability to communicate in a vocal way.
It's very important.
It's pretty good because now I challenge my students to not be on their phones when I come into the classroom and to be in conversation about the subject matter.
Now, what class do you teach?
I teach accounting classes.
Okay.
So I'm a CPA. I teach accounting classes. That kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So accounting 1, accounting 2, intermediate 1, intermediate 2.
It's very interesting because typically, at least from my knowledge, that field attracts more introverted.
Yes, I am not your traditional accountant, but this is also career number 2.
Sure.
Used to be a chef and a restaurateur in a prior life. You didn't know that?
No, I did not know that.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Yes.
So, what happened with that? You just got fed up with it?
That is a young man's game.
Sure.
A young person's game. Not anymore as much, but this was in the days before Celebrity Chef. So I don't know if you ever knew the 56 Fighter Group in Farmingdale.
No.
Yeah, it's behind Walmart. It's closed right on the airport there. I was part of the opening crew of that in the 80s. I owned a place. I was the chef at the Oldfield Country Club up in Stony Brook.
Oh, very cool.
A place called Stakeout in East Meadow. A place called Doodles in East Meadow. So
interesting.
Yeah, I did a lot of different things there. But I was 26, 27. I had stepsons that were 5, twin stepsons that were 5. I'm sleeping with my feet up every night. I have a hernia. My back hurts.
Yeah.
And I had 60 college credits. And my ex-wife at the time looks at me and goes, you got 60 college credits. This is not going to work long term.
Yeah.
Nights, weekends, holidays. Who's going to be around?
You're killing yourself.
Yeah, it's a tough business. It's a lot of fun. It's a great business.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
But at some point, it has to end.
Sure.
So
interesting. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, this.
Went back to college and became a CPA?
Well, I went back to college originally for computer programming. Computers, because computers in 84 were like happening things.
Sure.
You could go computer repair, which was like tech school, or you could go computer programming, which was college.
Mm-hmm.
I went computer programming and I have 10 thumbs, so you try and write a line of code. That runs. I could write a line of code, it never ran.
Yeah.
Kind of went through that for about a year and really struggled with it and saying that was the future. And I guess I probably could have practiced typing and all of those things, but I also had kids and was busy. So I decided death or taxes, and I chose taxes.
Oh, boy.
And, graduated college from Dowling, ultimately went into Suffolk Community, got my associate's degree, went to Dowling College, took the credits that I had from Oneonta when I was 18 and 19.
Sure.
And got a bachelor's degree the year that 8 big accounting firms became 6 big accounting firms. So what happens when you have shrinkage in an industry? You have
less jobs. Yep.
Couldn't find a job because all the people that were working that got laid off are now filling those voids.
Sure.
Go graduate school 1 year, get a master's degree in taxation, and get offers from 5 of the 6 big 6. So it was a cool learning experience. Worked for Deloitte Touche Tomatsu.
Okay.
So I was in the Japanese practice division of Deloitte & Touche, which is now called Deloitte.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a minority. It was pretty interesting.
Wow.
There was mostly Japanese people. There were 8 Americans and about 40 Japanese. But I learned a ton of stuff about international tax and consolidated groups and things along those lines. And
very interesting.
Yeah, that kind of moved my career along. Left Deloitte & Touche and ultimately ended up at Ernst & Young.
Sure.
Became a national instructor for corporate consolidated groups. All right. Big stuff, right?
Yeah.
So Giorgio Armani was one of my clients.
That's wild.
Yeah. Bound Business Systems, British Airways, Club Med. These were all my clients. A&E Television Networks. So they own multiple entities and they file what's called a consolidated group. So like you look at their 10Ks, well, the A&E is private, but you look at public company 10Ks and they have multiple entities. Apple is, one company, but it's got gazillions of stores, which are entities. It's got all those different things. What do big companies do? They buy and sell companies. So I'm working with valuation people for putting information on tax returns and things along those lines. And I'm like, that's way more exciting. That's how I ended up getting into the business valuation world.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
sorry.
That's all right.
That's very interesting to start off with.
Yeah.
As far as kind of stumbling into what you do now, has to be my absolute favorite part about this podcast is hearing how people ended up where they are now, because so often, I don't want to say people don't get to accomplish their goals or their dreams, but so often life takes them totally in a different direction, and it's almost always, I've heard very, very, very few failures, but it's almost always tremendously better for them, which is so cool, in my opinion. I don't know. I love that.
Well, yeah, but, leave public accounting, go open your own accounting firm. Wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, what I ended up doing. Merged it, sold it, and now focused mostly on business valuation and appraisal. I kept a few clients from my accounting firm days. So valuing and appraising businesses. And then with that, over the years, as you know, and I will tell the audience, I just purchased half of the Suffolk County franchise for TAB, the alternative board. And that's an organization it's a member-only organization that helps business owners move the needle. At the end of the day, we put business owners together in a roundtable type setting. We set annual goals, we set monthly goals and quarterly goals. We work on business education, and we work on having a mastermind group in our board meetings where business owners bring problems to the table. And other business owners help them solve those problems, set monthly goals. So, what are you going to accomplish this month based on what we talked about? And then we do the one-on-one business coaching with them as well.
Interesting.
In between the board meetings to keep that needle movement on track, if you will.
It's gotta. Yeah, you gotta have routine stuff, because if you don't, it just gets passed by.
Well, that's just it. You set a goal and then you forget about it, or you don't do anything about it, and never gets done, and you don't move your business needle. So
I remember hearing you say once, if you don't accomplish a goal in 6 months, just give up on it or something like that.
Yeah, well, it's your goal. I mean, at some point you got to look at it realistically and say, am I going to do this or am I not going to do this?
Yeah.
You
Is
know?
it a goal or is it a want? Because there's
Well,
a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's I like that line. I'm going to use that. So
Is it-
I'm
yeah.
not going to give you credit for it. Okay.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Just make sure you tell people to go watch the podcast.
Yeah.
No, because I see a lot of people. They say, "Oh, my goal." I tell people, "No, I want to learn how to play piano. I will one day. It's nowhere near the top of my list, but I'll learn it one day." Is it likely in 2019? Not really. Maybe 2020. Who knows? But it's then I hear other people say, my goal is to do this. Oh, great. Well, we're 4 months into the year almost.
Right.
How close have you gotten?
Mm-hmm.
Haven't even started yet.
Yeah.
Oh, we're on the right track here, bud.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I say I'm thinking about a lot of things, but I don't say it's my goal. I'm thinking about doing this, I'm always thinking about doing something. But once at least I've recently been much more keen on trying to say, hey, this needs to get done. Or, this is a goal. These are the steps that I need to take, or the amount of money that I need to bring in to accomplish that goal.
Mm-hmm.
And then, after half the time has passed or a quarter of the time has passed, look at where you've come, look at where you're going, and then say, hey, we're gonna tweak and adjust and make changes where necessary, so that way the goal is still attainable.
Well, it has to be a smart goal.
Yes.
Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time sensitive, however you want to. Everybody's got a different acronym
Sure.
there, but that's basically it. Is does the goal make sense?
Sure.
And better yet, how do you know you're going to make that goal?
Mm-hmm.
What's the metric you're going to use to measure it?
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, metrics is what it's all about. It's your objectives. It's how we're going to measure that we're getting to those objectives, and what's the value of the
Mm-hmm.
objective,
Sure.
And if we take a look at everything, I look at a lot of things in my life that way.
Sure.
Is what do I want to accomplish? What's it going to take me to get there? And how am I going to know that I've gotten there? And then what's the value to me at the end of the day? Which is why, you want to set a goal.
Yeah.
I'm a rower. I row a single scull, one of those long, thin shells.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you do that?
City Island.
Okay.
I used to do it elsewhere. Dowling College, we used to row out
Sure.
of there. So I sold my long, thin boat. Now I have a bigger boat, a little wider. It's more for open water. So
Sure.
I can get under the barriers. I can get under the Throgs Neck Bridge if I
Oh,
want
that's
to.
cool.
Yeah, I can go pretty much anywhere. I could go from City Island to Port Washington.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's neat. But years ago, I made a goal of making nationals.
Mm-hmm.
So 2009 and 2010, 2008, I started working with a really good coach, young man named David Kubiak from Poland, who was on the U23 team in Poland. His brother was on the Polish Olympic team. So, he's like, well, you can get to that.
Mm-hmm.
We need to do this, 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 and this. And we broke it up into goals. And in 2009, I made the cut and I rode at Masters Nationals. So 2009, 2010, and it was like, okay, that's good. And now I'm back at the point where I want to start racing again. And in the rowing world, spring is what we call sprint season. So it's a 2,000-meter run. And fall is called head race season, where we start on a river and it's a 4 or 5 mile run. And you
Holy Jesus.
Yeah, you're rowing for 20, 25 minutes.
God, Jesus.
Well, it's just like
how long does it take to do a 2,000 meter?
I think the world record for the men is something like 5 minutes and change.
Oh my God.
Yeah. For me, it's 7 minutes and 52 seconds or something like that.
Jesus.
Yeah. And then there's on the rowing machine and stuff. But, it was a goal to get there. So This summer, I'm going to work on my goal of being competitive in head race season with my open water boat. It's a goal. So how am I going to do that? Well, I need to be on the water 3 times a week, minimum. So, you go backwards, and whether it's a business goal or a life goal or
sure.
a personal
What is
goal,
the boat that you go on, just so I could look it up?
I row a Wintech 24. Wintech, I think. TICK.
Oh, wow. This is still way more slender than I thought it would be.
It's about 16 inches at the waterline.
Oh, my God. That's like nothing, dude.
Yeah.
What happens if a wave comes?
If you're not positioned properly, you're going to get wet, or you might go into water.
Holy shit. This one's got like pontoons on the side.
Oh, that's a training.
Oh.
That's for the trainer or for handicap.
Oh, okay.
A lot of disabled rowers use stuff like that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
This is a wild little boat.
Yeah. It's crazy fun.
And this is the skinny one.
No, that's the fat one.
I mean, oh yeah,
That's it's considered an open water boat. It's a little
Okay.
bit wider. If you want to look at a Wintec, just do men's heavyweight or something like that. I mean, Wintec is a U.S. company now, but Empacher, there's a bunch of really high end boats.
interesting.
Wintec.
Oh my God, these things are like pencils.
Yes, it's like sitting on a pencil in the water. It's a good way to describe it.
This thing can't be more than like 10 inches wide.
It's 11 inches wide at the waterline.
Oh my God.
It's wide enough here to sit. So, you got to figure it's whatever this is.
I got some big old hips.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Anybody could do it. We could put you in a Moss Arrow or a Moss 24.
Sure.
That's a little bit of a lower boat.
All right.
When I rode out in San Francisco, they rode these Moss 24s, and they're wider and lower. You would fit into one of them. But
now, why is it lower?
Well, that's more rough open water.
Okay.
So rowing under the Golden Gate Bridge, you're in 6 to 8 foot swells.
Okay. And that thing will get through it.
The Moss 24 will get through it. My boat would never get through that.
Moss, MASS?
MASS, yeah.
Moss 24. Sorry, folks. We're looking this up.
Oh, it's okay.
Right. I think I'm on the wrong thing here. I got a Moss 24V, which is some kind of
try MAAS. I'm sorry.
MAAS.
Yeah, and I keep hitting that wire and making a big boom.
It's okay.
MAAS. Get rid of the second S, I think.
What's this damn mouse? Sorry, folks. We're doing some real-time research here.
That's all right. We're living large. There you go.
And that thing will take on 6 to 8 foot swells?
Oh, yeah. Just pull it to crest. That's all. I was out there. I have to tell you, I went out.
If somebody bet me on whether or not this was going to make it through a 6 to 8 foot swell, I would tell them they are an idiot, and I'd bet all my money I'd ever have that this thing will not make it. And if you say it's going to make it, I'm believing you.
Okay, so we have a chase boat or a little, motorboat alongside of us. I go out of I forget what it's called. It's by the Sausalito Bay Model.
Okay.
Outside of Tiburon. I'm one of 12 people going out, and I'm the youngest. There were women in their 70s and 80s doing this.
Jesus.
And we go under the bridge. I mean, out under the Golden Gate Bridge.
So for anyone that wants to look this up at home, it's MAAS 24. This is wild.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's
you got to get wet though.
You get wet. Sure, you get wet.
Now, does there some kind of like self-bilging system in there?
Yeah, they have a when you pull up and you crest it, there's a little lever that'll get out, but the cockpit's only the size of a shoebox. Where your feet go in is really all that's there. You're sitting basically above it. And yes, these guys are definitely taking on water.
Oh, my
no
Lord.
doubt about it.
Oh, yeah, you're really like sitting on top of it.
Yep.
I feel like this is a sport that I just don't know if I'd really find.
Well, you can always row in a big dinghy. I mean, there's other kinds of boats.
No, I would do it. I just don't know if I would do it like recreationally. I would be like, Todd, let's go out one day. I'm willing to give it a shot. And I just have a strong feeling that I'll do it once or twice in my life and be like, look, I did it.
You did it, right?
That's cool with me.
Everybody's got those things.
Try everything once.
Well, yeah. Try twice if you're not sure, right?
Yeah, true. This is cool, though. Very interesting. All right, so you're my first rower that I know of on here.
There you go.
So how'd you get into this?
So went to Dowling College.
Okay.
Right after going to
whatever's left of it now.
So, well, yeah, unfortunately, it's a shame because it was running to the ground, but we'll leave that alone.
Yes.
There were people that took advantage and that didn't do the right thing, and that's probably more of it than there. You look like you're familiar with most of it, so
I know a good amount of it. Not everything.
I mean, I used to teach there. I graduated from there, but I got my associate's degree, Suffolk Community, when I went back to school after years in the restaurant business.
Sure.
And used to look out the window and go, someday I'm going to do that because the classes.
I see people that do it. I think it's very cool.
It's.
I don't know if it would be up my alley, but I think it's very cool.
It's a life sport. You have no idea how strong rowers really are.
Oh, they're monsters.
Yeah, core strength is amazing. It's great.
Core, shoulders.
Yeah.
I mean traps.
Yeah.
Tries.
And legs.
Yeah.
It's a full body kind of thing.
Yeah,
it really is.
Does your seat go back and forth?
Yes.
Oh, I did not know that also.
Yes, it's a sliding seat. So.
Interesting. Oh, so you can get more pull.
So you're compressing, you're compressing your legs, basically driving with your legs through your hips and the seat to extend your arms.
Oh, so you're just pulling yourself back and forth almost.
Well, it's a whole movement. It's
Jesus. Yeah, I do the rower at the gym every once in a while, and I'm like, this just feels strange. But I
you're
guess for
probably
people
not doing it right either. So
more than likely.
I'll get you the DVD on how to train on the rower.
I'm in.
All right.
I'm in. You gotta send me a digital copy though, because I don't think I have a single DVD player anymore.
I don't know if I could. Well, if I get the DVD, you could probably burn it. I don't know. You see,
I'll figure it out.
This is technology that you understand. That
Yeah.
I feel like I'm.
Or find a YouTube video. I'm in.
Well, there's YouTube videos. On
okay.
Yes.
I'll figure it out.
There you go. That's right. You can learn anything on YouTube.
YouTube Academy. Who did I just have? I was just talking to somebody the other day, and I go, you could learn literally anything you want on YouTube. So I was having a conversation with somebody. Actually, I feel like you might find this interesting. So I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and they kept making excuses about everything. I mean, and I love this person so dearly, and they'll never figure out who they are. But
they will someday, or not.
Hopefully not. But they're just making excuses for everything, and not excuses for them, but excuses for other people. Them themselves are very good people, a very good person, but he was making excuses, it came out, it played a little bit into politics, but it was more so like, you can't blame somebody for not knowing how to do something or not being able to figure it out. And I go, here's where I think you're wrong. If you're a citizen, you can get not a green card, you can go get a library card, you can go on YouTube, you can learn anything you want, you can go get a free book. I go, so if you're not really trying, then whose fault is it? Because you could do pretty much anything you really want to do. YouTube, there's YouTube Academy. There's so many free webinars online. There's so much everything out there now.
Well, now the internet is the world of, I'm overwhelmed because I don't even know what the hell is going on.
Yep.
Which is,
finding the gems is the hard part.
Right.
Learning, hey, I want to learn, I know you were a chef, so I want to learn how to fillet fish today. There is more than a sufficient knowledge online of how to fillet a fish.
Absolutely.
I feel like there should be no excuses for literally almost anything at this point.
So what's the coolest thing you learned off of YouTube?
The coolest thing I've learned off of YouTube. What is the coolest thing I've learned off of YouTube? Honestly, probably how to ride a motorcycle.
Really?
Yeah, I learned how to ride a motorcycle online.
You learned how to ride a motorcycle online.
I kid you not, watched the video 25 times. I did take a class.
Well, you have.
But mainly for the waiver. But yeah, I literally watch YouTube videos to learn how to ride a motorcycle.
That's kind of cool.
Learn how to watch YouTube videos on how to shoot archery, how to shoot a gun. I've watched YouTube videos on how to pack a cooler correctly.
I've done that. Dry ice for the long trip.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
How to dry ice it. So the coolest thing I think I've ever learned on YouTube was how to tie a cargo net out of 100 feet of line.
Like the mesh.
Like the mesh cargo.
That's net. Cool.
Yes.
I'm like I said before, I'm an Eagle Scout. I'm pretty well versed. I'm just gonna have a touch more ice to do. And only because I do have to go to jiu-jitsu after this.
That's okay.
And
I have other things to do also. we all have other things to do.
I'm a little fearful now because one of my best buddies who went the other day, he goes, I blacked out the other day fighting, and I was like, oh my Lord.
Ooh. Somebody had him in the chokehold?
Yeah, somebody had him in chokehold, and I was like, okay.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's inevitable, but
so those plastic Suncaster 2-door sheds, the big sheds, right? So Superstorm Sandy's coming.
Sure.
My girlfriend's on City Island. For Irene, we had actually lifted the shed up with all the men in the neighborhood and moved everything back. We weren't doing that kind of stuff this time because Irene wasn't as bad as
much more tolerable.
That?
Oh yeah,
a little bit. It's still good like this.
Oh, it's great like that. But now it's like now I could
enjoy the flavors and everything.
Enjoy it, and I could probably sail my way into a nice hangover tomorrow morning with it.
That shouldn't give you a hangover.
No, that will.
Oh, the rest of it will. I didn't say we were finishing it, unless you really want to, and then you gotta go. I have to golf tonight. I'm golfing indoors.
Nice.
Indoor golf league tonight.
Oh, and it's right. It's Simplay.
It's Simplay. Yes, absolutely. So Monday nights is golf league.
I like it.
It's my night out. It's perfect. So my girlfriend's got that Suncaster shed.
Sure.
I put at least 500 pounds of sand. I filled up 10 sandbags.
Oh my God.
On the bottom, and then we had this. There was a bolt anchor in the ground with an eye, so it had been in the concrete for years.
Sure.
I'm like, I could tie a cargo net. So I literally looked online,
Sure.
Found it on
So cool.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Tied a small one
Uh-huh.
and said, okay, I could build a big one. Built this huge cargo net.
So smart.
Put it over the shed.
All one rope without cutting it.
All one rope without cutting it.
Love it.
And then tied it into this anchor. And, well, all that was left after Super Sum Standy was the base.
Not even the rope.
Not even the rope. There was nothing left on that. We found the shed and its pieces like 3 miles down the road.
Oh, my God.
Super Sum Sandy hit City Island pretty hard.
Sure.
Like it hit me in Lindenhurst pretty hard. So.
Jesus. Yes. Yeah. That messed up a good chunk of people.
Yeah, it was not a pretty situation.
It's funny you learned how to do that because being my past history and also being a volunteer firefighter, knots and ropes are very important to learn. And sailing and things like that, things that I've done in the past, tying knots and all that has always been a part of my life. So one day I always carry 20 to 30 feet of paracord in all my backpacks, always without fail.
Really?
I always have rope with me. It's either that or it's located in my car somewhere. And so one day we're sitting somewhere and I didn't have my phone on me and I'm with my girlfriend who I'm dating now. And I pull out a piece of rope and I just start tying knots. And she's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm just keeping myself occupied here. I got to make sure, can't get rusty. You got to just..."
Right. You got to continually tie those knots.
Yeah, because if I don't do it, I'm just going to forget it. She's like...
The rabbit through the hole.
Yep. And she's like, "You are out of your damn mind." I'm like, we have nothing to do. At least the least I could do. And I'm such a big proponent on maximizing time and being efficient. So for me, it was like, I needed to do this. Like, this is free time I have, and I can't work or anything.
Right.
So I might as well do something that's going to be beneficial.
There you go.
And she just thought I was out of my mind for doing it. And I thought it was quite funny just because for me, it was a normal day. For her, she's like, "What on earth?" I'm like, "I got to do it. I got to practice because if I don't practice, I'm going to lose it. And the one day I'm going to need to do it, I'm going to be SOL."
Right. Exactly. Yep. It's tough. I have same thing with tying knots. I used to sail. I haven't sailed in 15 years.
Yep.
Was on my friend's boat, and I'm like, no, this isn't working. Like, I don't remember. And you would think it would be second nature.
No, you still got to practice.
Well, it's like everything else. It's like playing an instrument. Yep. It's like understanding what it is you're doing. You need to know what your limitations are. You need to understand where you are and then move the needle forward. That's back to that whole moving the needle forward thing. Always got to keep progressing. Yeah, it's like bringing something with you to read. Now, obviously, nowadays it's the Kindle or you can read it on your phone and stuff like that. But you're right. Going back to the people you saw at the restaurant, they're on social media instead of being in the moment with
stimulating their own senses. That's the irritating part.
Well, that's FOMO, isn't it? Fear of missing out. Isn't that what they call that?
Yeah, but I feel like you can't miss out when you're with people already.
That's just it. But be here now.
Yeah. FOMO is one thing that I cannot understand. I've tried to understand FOMO, and for some reason, for me, it just doesn't, for fear of missing out. And, if I find out about a party, even if I missed it, I'm like, okay, great. There's a reason why I wasn't there, whatever it may be. And I think one way I've learned to combat it is always make the most out of my time. So I can't really miss out on anything if I've already done something substantial in a different area.
Right. You're maximizing what you can maximize.
Saturday night I didn't go out. I wrote blogs all night. There was a party going on, but I wrote blogs.
But you went out Saturday afternoon and had cigars and because you sent out that email.
Yes.
Thank you very much. But I was in the Bronx.
It's all good. Look for more of those, by the way. But so I was like, okay, I still had a good time that day, but I'm not going to stay up till 12, 1, 2, 3 in the morning. Like, I'm going to sit home and write blogs. There's nothing wrong with that, and it's going to progress me as a person and progress my business as a company. So for me, that's a great, I didn't miss out on anything. Yeah, could I have gone? Yeah, but for me, I don't know. I'm not losing anything. I don't know. That's my take on it.
Yeah, it's your generation. I'm on. You're in your
26.
You're in your 20s, right?
Yeah.
So you're 30 years younger than me. 31 years younger than me.
Oh, you look killing it for your age.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I only said that because I wanted to hear now. Yes, shower me with it. Nah, you know what?
Fishing for those compliments.
You are however old you think you are. The problem is my body can't cash the checks that it used to cash when I was
Yes.
your age. But other than that, it's the same thing, only different.
Yes.
I firmly believe that. Although, moving was very interesting, especially living on a second floor and moving to a second
I
floor.
remember hearing about the story.
Yeah, so it's I'm still a little tired from it, but
Sure.
took the weekend off, kind of kicked back, went to the Bronx Zoo, had a good time
Nice.
there.
How was the Bronx Zoo? I haven't been there in a long
The
time.
Bronx Zoo is the Bronx Zoo. I love that place.
Oh, I gotta go again. I'm far overdue for a visit.
It's a very, very cool place, and it's really what they've done with it is amazing.
Really?
Compared to what it was years ago.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, but we're members. We live literally. City Island is about 10 minutes away from the Bronx
Oh, okay.
Zoo, so
Nice.
it's one of those places we go to walk and
Sure, why not?
Yeah, you can see the animals. You
God,
know
what a time to be alive.
right?
I say it all the time. It's just like, who would have thought that we could just literally go a couple miles and see most animals from any part of the world
Mm-hmm.
in a location,
Yeah,
and they can't even kill us.
yeah.
Unless you try to take a selfie with a jaguar. But other than that,
Yeah, the snow leopards are behind the cage.
yeah, you're gonna be fine otherwise.
Yeah, very much so.
So now, because we're sailing through this thing, and I want to get some kind of business in here. So you
I
brought a bunch of.
don't even know what time it is. So
We're 45 minutes in. 45 minutes.
You're in charge of this.
Yeah, that's cool. So what did you bring as far as paperwork?
So I brought value drivers.
All right, cool. So what are some value drivers?
So value drivers. So in every business, when I value and appraise a business,
Sure.
I look at risk factors relating to the sustainability and the continuance of the cash flow stream that falls to the owners.
Sure.
Right. So if you're a stockholder, you get dividends. If you own a closely held company, you're taking a salary, and then you're hoping that money falls to the bottom line that ultimately is yours based on the amount of risk you put in to generate that profit or generate that revenue. So risk comes in two different forms. It comes in systemic risk and unsystemic risk.
Sure.
Systemic risk is the risk of the system. So, for instance, in 2009, the economy crapped the bed. It was just the real estate world, that whole, we'll call it recession kind of issue. Everyone that is in business is going to deal with systemic risk the same way. If we go to war, if there's another, God forbid, 9/11, those things affect everyone.
Sure.
It affects the system. So system is based on what we call the market drivers, or the first page that I have here.
Sure.
And this tool that I have called Core Value looks at these 9 systemic risk drivers.
Sure.
We got growth, recurring revenue, product differentiation, large potential market size. Are you in a market that's unlimited, or are you making buggy whips? Because obviously buggy whips is...
What is a buggy whip?
Well, when people had buggies, they had buggy whips, and it was, you'd whip the mule to...
Oh, I got you.
Right? So...
Interesting.
Or are you making something that's antiquated, And what's going to be antiquated? What's next that's going to be in there? So I'll give you an example. I knew someone that had a business that made the tabs with the numbers for loose leaf binders. Right?
It's a business.
It was a business. The machine that made the tabs, so it would print and cut, and you get tab 1 to tab 30, or you get A to Z or whatever. Have you seen those lately?
No.
Right.
Nobody uses
them anymore.
Yeah.
Because everything is digital.
Sure.
Right? So why would you want to keep making those machines? Now, some people are still using that stuff.
Sure.
There's a couple of companies that are doing it, but for the most part, they're not there.
Yeah.
It's a dying industry, right?
Sure.
If you know how to repair bowling alley pin setting machines, you're making $5,000 a day right now, because you're flying all over the country. Because how many bowling alleys are left?
Not many.
Not many.
And they're willing to pay top dollar.
Well, the old machines, only a handful of people know how to fix them now. So
that's crazy.
they're
5Gs a day.
5Gs a day. Yes, that's what this particular individual I met recently. He's like, "Yeah, I get $5,000 a day. You want me to come in? I'll fix your machines. If you got 31 lanes, which is 32 lanes, which is like the normal average bowling alley, it's gonna take me 2 days to fix your machines. It'll be $10,000." That's what the guy makes.
That's crazy.
Nah, because think about it. The bowling alley is doing well, right? If the bowling alley is making it,
Sure.
But how many bowling alleys do you know around here that don't exist anymore. Where is a bowling alley around here, actually?
There's one in Sayville.
Sayville Bowl still on?
So it's not Sayville anymore. It's Bolero.
Where is that?
Right on Sunrise Highway, where the Ruby Tuesdays used to be.
Mm-hmm.
But the one in
Bayshore's closed.
Gone.
Yep.
Gone, which is actually a real shame, not because it's closed, but the fact that vacant building is still there. I'm going on 6 hours of speaking today.
Good for you.
Yeah, good. Today's been a great day. Just a lot of phone calls, all nonstop,
and a little grappa.
Little grappa, wet the lips. But that's one thing that makes me so sad. I don't get sad about a lot of things, but I hate seeing vacant buildings because I guess the way I look at it is it's just opportunity for something better.
Well, I guess that makes sense on some levels, but the mall is going to be vacant soon. I don't see Amazon relenting their place in the world of commerce.
No, I don't think so either.
And how many? I mean, yeah. Look, I bought shoes online that didn't fit. I was bummed.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but I couldn't have found those shoes in one of the stores that I normally shop in.
Sure.
And I was going on vacation. I was like, oh, I really want these shoes. They changed the model from the year before, and they changed the size. Okay. Guess what? They showed up the week before. I couldn't get them back to them. I didn't go away with those shoes on vacation.
Sure.
But really, am I going to go to the mall to buy something that probably isn't even there anymore?
Yeah. My biggest problem with the mall, I do like malls. I think malls are very good. I think it gives people an activity to do things, or a way to do things. The problem that I see with malls is not even so much that Amazon's taking, or I shouldn't say that. The benefit I see with malls is not that Amazon's taking over, but I feel like malls aren't diversified enough. There's not enough to do at the mall. So, for example, Payless is going out, but JCPenney's is slowly closing down stores.
Yeah, they're all slowly closing down stores. I mean, Sears is gone. For all intent and purpose.
Flip side of things, we're turning into a world where now, okay, so JCPenney is closing down. Put an indoor theme park there, or
that takes capital, and there's risk involved with that. So,
but I think we're moving towards a world of service and experience than retail.
Well, that's what your generation is looking for in terms of I don't need stuff. Stuff is just that. It's stuff. You have to carry your stuff. At what
clean
point
your stuff, you got to vacuum your stuff.
Right. At what point does your stuff own you as opposed to you owning your stuff, right? Experiential things are totally different, but to have an experiential thing still takes capital, it takes marketing dollars, it takes all those things to get it to fledge, never mind to fly.
Sure.
So how do you go about doing those things, from a business perspective in something that's 300,000 square feet? I mean, you're talking 2 floors at JCPenney or 3 floors at JCPenney.
It's a lot of space.
That's a lot of space.
So here's a crazy thing. Well, power of the internet. There's a place that I found in Brooklyn. You literally go there. It's a bar, and you throw axes.
It's an axe throwing bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sick.
That's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Like, I think what's happening is old ideas are dying very quickly, and new ideas are not coming to fruition fast enough. That, I think, is a real problem that we have right now.
Well, the ability to monetize a new idea for a business is difficult because you need to understand the value drivers. You need to understand what's going to generate your revenue. Like, recurring revenue is your growth driver in a market situation. Recurring revenue is great. How do you get that recurring revenue stream as a podcaster or as a web person? Well, as a web person, you're on a monthly maintenance fee.
Sure.
So that works. As an accountant, you have a monthly retainer. Lawyers work off of retainers, things like that. But Verizon or T-Mobile or AT&T, they're the recurring revenue kings, because every month you pay that amount of money.
They get you.
They got you. It's
Netflix money.
Netflix, right? Same thing. It's a recurring revenue stream. So, are you getting the DVDs? Are you getting the streaming? Are you getting both? All of a sudden it's $20 a month, $30 a month. The gym, do you go to a gym? Do you go to a specialty gym?
Sure.
I used to go to a boot camp gym. I belong to this particular gym.
What is boot camp?
Boot camp?
Oh, boot camp.
Boot camp.
Yeah,
So,
those things were hot for a while.
They still are.
Really?
CrossFit is boot camp in essence. This just
okay.
happened to have been a small,
sure,
local kind of thing. The guy mixed up the workouts every day. That you never did the same workout twice.
Oh, good.
You knew that Monday, Wednesday, and Friday was certain things. Tuesday, Thursday was certain things, and you kind of tried to make it 2 or 3 times a week.
Sure. Interesting.
Yeah. So your market drivers, to go back to this, is that systemic risk. It's the risk of the system. How is your brand related in the marketplace? Are you a big player? Are you a medium player? Are you somebody that is known on Long Island? Are you somebody that's known nationally, internationally? What is it that your product or service is?
Sure.
So market, you really don't have a lot to do with, because unfortunately it's really all based on what's environmental around you.
Sure.
As opposed to operational drivers, here's where we get into what's your company doing? How's it doing? How's it doing it? How are you measuring it?
Sure.
What are the things that are benefiting you in terms of your company overview? Do I understand what it is you're doing?
Sure.
Harrison, or it's Barron Media, right?
Yep.
So Barron Media is a full service inbound, is what you said.
Yep.
Marketing company or marketing support company.
Marketing company, yeah.
Right. So I need to easily understand what your value is.
Sure.
Who your customers are. How do I get what it is you do so that I can help you?
Sure.
Through our networking groups, through other people that I meet, to maybe make that connection to help you identify new people. Just like for me, it's really about understanding how to improve the business. Who holds you accountable as a business owner, right?
Sure.
Whether it's the alternative board or valuing and identifying value in a business, how do we understand it? We dig down into these different value drivers.
Sure.
Right? So, operations, are you continually delivering on your sales promises? And do you do it systematically? Or is it this way one time and this way the next time?
Sure.
Because at the end of the day, you want to pull the book off the shelf and say, this is what we do. This is how we do it.
Sure. Because that's what you put a price on. You put a price on the process.
Right.
Because anybody else, as long as you can recreate the process, as far as I can tell, you can sell it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely correct there. But that's just it, is how do you recreate the process time and time again? And then how do you streamline the process to make it more efficient?
Sure.
So your cost is not as much and your profit ultimately is more.
Sure.
And hopefully your cost doesn't exceed your revenues, and then you're even in worse shape. And we see that a lot too, unfortunately.
A lot.
People don't know.
What do you think the biggest problem that you see with businesses is?
Not understanding their cost structure.
Not understanding their cost structure.
Right. So,
not the answer I was expecting.
What were you expecting?
Failure in processes, failure to automate, and failure to educate.
You need to know what things cost before you get to those. I could do all that.
Sure.
But if I'm not making money and I'm doing it and I don't realize I'm not making money, how does that play out?
Sure.
So very recently, I've worked with a couple of companies who had cost structure issues where they thought one thing, and the reality was when we started peeling the onion back, it wasn't that, because they didn't have a good handle on their data. They didn't have a good handle on the overall
big problem,
bigger picture. You look at labor. I mean, we could talk about a restaurant. So in a restaurant, you sell a dish for $20, right?
Sure.
And you're looking at your food cost, your liquor cost, your labor cost, and then your overhead.
Sure.
So liquor makes money.
Liquor makes so much money.
Right. And if you're selling liquor at a table, odds are you're going to be okay. But if two people have 2 sodas and then order 2 $20 dishes, and one of those dishes costs you $16, but the other one costs you $8, you've got some problems there, right? Because that's just your cost. I mean, that would have been your food cost and your labor cost. Sure. Now, how do you cover your overhead?
Sure.
Well, on that $16 one, if that's really what it is, it's not going to cover the overhead.
Sure. Well, that's underpriced.
Well, it's either underpriced or it's
you got a problem in your restaurant.
Yeah. Again, there's how do you identify that? How do you dig that information out?
Sure.
So it's a matter of, understanding what the numbers are, understanding how to utilize the numbers, understanding ratio analysis to step back and say, are you able to do it, and are you able to do it and make money?
Sure.
Because I can do it, but if I'm not making money, what's the point?
Yeah. Unless you love what you're doing, you're just doing it because you're already wealthy.
Yeah, and I know some people that do that and don't mind losing money because, as they say, quote unquote, I need the losses, even though I argue that no one needs to lose money. But those are the people that don't want to pay as much tax, and that's a whole nother story.
Sure, tax avoidance.
Well, yeah, no, that's really tax evasion.
Avoidance sounds better.
Yeah, well, one's legal, one's not.
Yes,
right? You can avoid taxes, you can't evade them.
Yes,
but to minimize your taxes,
sure.
you buy a piece of real estate, and it doesn't make money on the books.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, when you sell that real estate, you're going to pay all the gains for all those pieces that you've taken away.
Sure.
So, operational drivers really get into what your business does and how it does it. How do you market? How do you sell?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a system and a process? Because again, we talked about Sandler. Sandler's a system.
Sure.
You understand the system.
Sandler selling systems, yeah.
Right. You understand the system. You understand moving through the submarine in Sandler.
Uh-huh.
You understand that there's a process you need to go through in order to identify and ultimately bring a fish on the boat, as I call it.
Sure.
So that's kind of where that is. So operational drivers, there's 9 operational drivers, and these are all what we call unsystemic risk. This is diversifiable risk. So, the most valuable business, Harrison, is the business that the business owner's not at, believe it or not.
Yes, because it's generating revenue without you having to put work into.
Exactly. So you're out there marketing, you're out there selling, you're out there going to the charity events, you're being the face of the Chamber of Commerce, whatever that is.
Sure.
That business becomes infinitely more valuable to sell at a point in time than the similar business with the similar numbers where the owner really has a job.
Yeah, I agree. One thing I've actually thought about quite substantially when building my business is building I guess I come from a very good point because I have a very strong IT background. Because of that, I learned very quickly processes and systems in place and things of that nature, holding people accountable, keeping track of everything. Now with software, and my company is predominantly built around software, all of those things are easily trackable to some degree. There's always going to be that gray area where you can't track and things of that nature. But that was one thing. That's why I said, processes and data and stuff like that before, because I saw a lot of companies that, sometimes you see something and you're like, that's how much you charge. And you're like, they're like, yeah. And I'm like, I don't understand how you charge that much. Like, you need to make more money than that because your cost is more money than that. They're like, no. I'm like, okay, whatever. If that's what you're asking for, I'm going to pay it. Some things just don't make sense. And I'm like, I've been in the business world long enough to know how much things cost and how much things don't cost for the most part. And sometimes I see things and you're like, how are you keeping track of that? Oh, I don't. How do you measure it then? I don't. Well, how are you making money? Well, at the end of the day, the books say I make money. And I'm like, oh my Lord.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy Jesus. Like, how are you getting through on a regular basis,
Well, people do it all the time. And
that blows my mind.
I've seen horrible business people and people that are not very smart making lots of money. It's part of what it is.
Yeah.
It's just it's a function of they found something that was a niche.
Sure.
Or they were in the right place at the right time, or they were at the front end of the curve.
Sure.
These things happen.
Yes.
And it's just part of the way the world runs.
Part of the game.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So
now you have, what is this core value software?
So core value software measures these 18 underlying value drivers.
Okay.
So core value software, I sit down with a business owner for 15 minutes, ask them 18 quick questions, one on each of the 18 underlying value drivers.
Sure.
To see how they fit. And we get a broad brushstroke picture of what enterprise value in the company is. Enterprise value that's not necessarily what you're going to sell it for or what somebody's going to buy it for, but theoretically a rough idea of what the real underlying assets and operational systems of the business are worth.
Sure.
That core value, after we do that high level, we do what's called, if you want to invest, you take a deep dive.
Mhm.
And there we're going to ask you between 70 and another 140 questions on different data points to really create that actionable, executable growth plan to work on different areas in the business that need shoring up. So, when you talk about top line revenue growth in a market risk, how
Mhm.
many businesses do you know that actually have what's called a revenue chart, where you've looked at your top line revenues month over month, your gross profit and your net income month over month, but have that under something that they look at every month?
Sure.
A lot of businesses don't do it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's a simple tool, but and you wouldn't know Mayor Ed Koch, but Ed Koch was the guy that used to say, "Hey, how am I doing?"
Sure.
You want to know how you're doing
Sure.
month to month to month. So that's one of the tools that you would have. So if you don't have that, that's an easy fix. That's an easy repair, if you will,
Sure.
to ultimately improve an underlying value driver.
Sure.
When you talk about sales and marketing, do you have a selling system? And because we're talking about Sandler and we both are Sandler guys,
Sure.
high value companies have the ability to produce revenue in a proven and systematic way, not based on the efforts of individuals within the business. So, thorough marketing plan, appropriate sales skills and technology, accurate and timely marketing and sales metrics in place. If you're not working from that point, then you're not really capturing what it is you need to capture.
Sure.
So, as a business coach, consultant, consigliere, as one of my friends calls me, although he says I'm a consigliere because he wants to do the Billy Crystal thing. It's a function of those things.
Sure.
So as a business advisor, as someone who helps people move the needle, it's getting them to understand what it is that's lacking through this tool, core value.
Sure.
And then helping them to create a plan to improve ultimately those underlying value
Sure.
drivers by plugging the holes.
Sure.
And that software really can peel back the onion. It can give you a whole bunch of different ways to look at your business.
Sure.
And that's one of the tools that I use, that I love. It's not as much as a deep dive business valuation for sale purposes,
Sure.
as it is a deep dive into the value of your business and the
Sure.
underlying value drivers of your business. So it's a great tool. Anybody that's a business owner, I'll be more than happy to spend half an hour with them, sit down, ask those 18 questions,
Sure.
and take it from there.
Sure.
It's a great opportunity to get another view of your business.
Sure. I think having somebody look in, the problem with having, you have to have a trained and knowledgeable individual looking into your business. Far too often, and this is one thing that drives me nuts, is like when people say, "I got a guy," and it's just some Joe Schmo who doesn't know what they're doing, maybe took a couple accounting classes, thinks they can tell you the evaluation of a business or how a business should work, or has, zero to little knowledge of operations and all this kind of stuff. And I see it, sadly enough, moderately frequently. And unfortunately, those people are beyond help in some degrees because they put all their eggs in one basket, and that basket seems to be their friend.
Mm-hmm.
But
I hear that a lot. The business owner that has an advisor, but that advisor is the friend.
Yeah.
And the friend may or may not be the best person to be speaking to.
Sure.
We talk about business deals when a business is in play and it's going to be sold or it's going to be bought. And it's been my experience over the years, because I've appraised enough businesses that are either being bought or being sold. And I've helped facilitate some of those transactions, but
Sure.
I've also been at the table where there's either two lawyers that don't know how to get along and make the deal happen. There's two accountants that can't see eye to eye. There's two significant others. So I've already named 6 people that could blow up a deal, right? That significant other. There's always the individual in the deal themselves, the buyer or the seller, that can blow it up. And then there's the person that I always call the maven, or the friend.
Sure.
The one that the guy that goes, "I could have got it cheaper."
Oh,
why did you do that? I could have got it cheaper. That's the guy or the woman, but it's mostly the guy.
Yeah.
Realistically, that's going to blow up those deals. So, it's who you're listening to and why are you listening to them?
Yeah. I hate when somebody says you could have got it cheaper.
Okay. But, is cheaper always better?
Exactly.
Right.
Far too often I have either friends or colleagues, and I'll I'm pretty open with my friends about like what I'm doing, what I'm working on, things that are going on. And, a great example, I use a software to run a lot of social media, especially social media, all joined in one place.
Mm-hmm.
And, they're like, well, you could just sign out of all those social media accounts and do the work and sign back in. I'm like, that would save you so much money. And I'm like, for how much time would it take me to sign in and sign out of all these accounts and make sure there's no issues and this, that, and the other thing? I'm like, you got to have a value on your time also. And the time that goes into working, if it's too much of a hassle, it's too much of a pain in the butt, it's not going to get done. Unfortunately, it's just the way of the world.
Right.
It's got to be simple enough that most people can understand it. Yes, you have to train them and educate them and stuff like that. But at the same time, there's a evaluation of, is a cheaper product always better? Well, it depends. You got to do your homework.
More likely than not, no.
Yeah.
And I could tell you a long story about that, which is not such a long story, but got the you got the storm door, right?
Sure.
And you got the storm door thing that the closer they call it, the storm door closer. You can open the door and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
There was a place called Rickle many years ago.
Okay.
Channel was Channel and Rickle, which is like the precursor to Home Depot and Lowe's.
Okay.
The storm door with the little X in the front. Anybody that's my age is going to remember the aluminum storm door with the X, with the horses and the carriage and the yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. But the closer goes. So I go to Channel, and there's a $2.99 closer and a $3.99 closer. Mm-hmm. And me being a cheap guy says, I'm going to buy the $2.99 closer.
$299.
No, $2.99. This is a long, long time ago. This has got to be like 1980 something, okay?
$2 to $3. Oh my Christ. Okay.
Yeah, but back then you got to realize if you made $300 a week, then you made a lot of money.
Yeah.
It was an okay living. $300 a week was an okay living.
Sure.
$500 a week was a lot of money.
Sure.
It's probably more, but so I bring it home. I put it on the door. My ex-wife looks at me and she goes, "You bought the cheaper one, right?" And I go, "Yeah." How'd you know? She goes, "Because it's a little shorter." And she goes, "We'll be buying a new one in a year, less than a year." The cheap one broke. Go back, buy the other one, which is now $4.99, and it lasted forever. It lasted until we took the door off, 20-something years.
Oh my God!
But yeah, that was my lesson learned. And don't buy cheap. Spend the extra couple of bucks because you'll be better off.
Yeah,
and I've done that in my business life now too.
Sure.
I look at things and I say, you know what? Not necessarily the $700 an hour attorney, but the $400 an hour attorney or the $500 an hour attorney,
sure.
Is going to be better than the $200 an hour attorney. And more likely than not, that person is.
Yeah.
So you kind of, you pay for it one way or the other. Which way?
Yeah.
Which side of the horse do you want the oats from?
Yeah. Why pay twice?
Right.
That's my thing is, why pay twice? It's just constantly irks me. I see it all the time. Why would I do this? I could do this. And I'm like, is it really worth the headache of going through something twice?
It's not.
Let alone once, You
jump on it, you go, and you're done. Make a decision, you go with it. The worst that can happen is you're wrong, or you spend an extra,
Okay, so you figure it out. Whatever, it is what it is.
Life happens. And,
you're not the first person to make a mistake in this world.
Exactly.
And, I don't know. I see it all the time where, people, my great example, my mom. So I got a parking ticket in New York City the other day. Of course, they always get you. And I was 10 minutes late, got a ticket, got there right before I got there. I'm like, God darn it. Whatever, $35. Okay, whatever.
Parking ticket's not terrible.
No, $35. And it sucks because I could have paid another $1 and it would have been fine. But so my mom
you had it on the meter? You were
yeah.
Okay.
And paid the meter expired. Couldn't max out the time. And this one didn't have the phone app. So I couldn't even do it from my phone. So my mom gets in my car and she's like, "Oh, you got a ticket?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "For what? Speeding?" And I was like, "No, parking." Mm-hmm. And she's like, "Oh, fight it." I'm like, "Mom,
you can't fight those."
I go, "Even if I could," I go, "Mom, it's not even worth me fighting it." She's like, "What do you mean? You can save $35. I'm like, hold on. So you're telling me $35 is worth taking off a half a day of work, driving to New York City, risking another parking ticket, paying to park in New York City, driving home with the chances of crashing my car multiple times, because we all know driving through New York City isn't exactly easy, for a $35 ticket, Mom?" I'm like, I just don't see the value there.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, you can fight it. You'll get out of it. I'm like, that's not the point of the thing here.
Well, that's mom's generation versus So how old is mom, if you don't mind me asking?
55, 56,
my
something like
age.
that.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
age. So that's interesting.
But it was just so funny. I'm like, what? Like for me, it was a no-brainer. I'm like, $35. Please, if that's all I gotta pay, great. Let me
Exactly.
let me sign that thing. Get out. Still pissed, just because I hate that they bang you for everything they possibly can. But I'm like,
they didn't bang you that hard.
No,
I had a pass an inspection that was passed though. It was parked out in front of my girlfriend's house in the Bronx.
They'll ticket you for an inspection
twice in less than 24 hours. I had to pay both tickets.
How much was that?
$75
each.
And then I fought the second one because I said it was the first one, and they said no. And then it was past due, and it was $150.
Yeah.
So $225 for 2 overdue inspections.
Oh my God!
And I knew it, and I just never got the car inspected, and I forgot that it went from January 31st to February 1st. It's like they were waiting for me.
I know.
And then they called everybody and said, you can throw a ticket up. And I was like, how many tickets can they give me in a 24-hour picket? As many as they want.
That's, oh my God.
Like,
that's absurd.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
Welcome to the city of New York.
Well, here's the other funny thing I think is when people, your car breaks down on the side of the road and whatever, you'll go back and get it eventually, but they ticket you all the time. I've seen cars with like 7 or 8 tickets on it. Because you're doing like 80 miles an hour. You're like, oh, let me see how many this guy's got. And you try to look back and you're like, that sucks. So not only, and it's just like a series of unfortunate events because not only do you have a broken down car, something's wrong with it, whether it's a flat tire or something happened.
And you can't afford to get it towed.
Exactly. You can't afford to get it towed.
And then you're getting tickets for leaving it on the side of the road.
Exactly. I'm like, this is like the ultimate. Like, you're better off just sucking up, taking out a line of credit, calling a tow truck, and just getting it out of there.
Yeah. Somebody's ringing the bell. The cash register's going ding, 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 ding. New York City. I just see it. Even on Long Island, really?
Suffolk County, all the time I see it.
I haven't noticed that.
The LIE is notorious for it.
Really?
I see it all the time. Because I know you live out here, but I go from Bayport here to Woodbury to Big, and I can't even tell you how many times I see cars on the side of the road.
Wow.
Because I turn on Waze, so I mark them all day. I mark all the cops all day, and that's my pastime hobby till I get to Big and amongst listening to books. But every once in a while I see a car and I try to like flick the head back to see how many tickets they got, and I'm like, okay, it's got 1. All right, that's not that bad.
That's not so bad.
But I've seen enough to where it looked like somebody put those like party ribbons. I'm like, that sucks.
That person's never going to go back to their car anyway.
You might as well just move out of state and never come back.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for those people because I'm like, you got screwed. So you left your car, you didn't pick it up, you didn't pay for the tow truck, and now whoever owns that car
is going to get
they're going to have a warrant for their arrest in 90 days.
Yeah, because they didn't pay their tickets.
Yep. I'm like,
wow.
Jesus.
Tough stuff.
Yeah. I feel so bad for people on the side of the road, man. I feel so bad.
I never noticed that, so I'm going to have to look now.
Oh, definitely do. And not all of them, because some of them are new, and sometimes, you can definitely tell when cops are like being nicer. Right. Especially in the colder weather, they seem to be nicer because they don't want to get out of the car.
Well, they don't want to get out of the car. It's not that they're being nicer.
Yeah. It's a better time to break down, I should say. And,
like there's a good time to break down.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'll break down this winter.
The last time I saw it was in like August, September on the LA going eastbound. I remember where it was. It was right by Suffolk County. What is that? Exit 53, Suffolk County Community College over there. Mm-hmm. And it was just past that. And I looked at that car and I was like, that sucks.
Wow.
That sucks.
Man, it could have been other things.
Very well, very much so. But you just see all the tickets. You can't exactly miss those things. Nobody's leaving you love letters on the side of the LA.
Nope. They're sticking them under the windshield.
On the windshield everywhere. I felt so bad for this guy.
No, that's horrible. And I've got to have to pay attention to that. But that was, I couldn't believe it. It was 2 tickets in less than 24 hours. I was like, you kidding me? One's one day, one's the next day, less than 24 hours. Didn't matter.
That's not right.
Days. Yeah, I didn't think so either, but.
I feel like it should be allowable 1 a day. That's it.
It was 1 a day. It was 1 on like 10 o'clock at night and 1 at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Next day.
Oh, yeah. Shit. That sucks.
And then I went out and I was like, what the? Why do I have freaking? And I'm like looking. I'm like, I'm not in front of your driveway. What's the problem? I'm like, I can't figure this out. I look and I'm like,
I got it right here in Patchogue.
Son of a bitch.
I parked in free parking. I'm like, I'm golden.
No,
$75 ticket.
Yeah,
it would have been cheaper for me to park illegally, and they just give me a illegal parking
no,
ticket.
because you would have gotten the
I know, I would have gotten
inspection. I got one of those up in Westchester somewhere. I again missed the inspection, and I'm at my friend's place and doing work, and walk in. I got a freaking. I'm like, I put enough money in the meter.
Yep, they get you. They get you.
Inspection. Yeah.
I know. They get you. Now, now since I've gotten that ticket, because that ticket cost me in Patrick $75.
Yeah, well, it's $75 for non-inspection.
Yep. And
then if you don't pay it, it's another $75.
That
was the city, so that was.
Yeah, I'm like Patrick. People are like, why don't you like Patrick? I'm like, that place just rapes me of money every single time I go. Oh. If it's not for overpriced drinks and food, it's for tickets, it's for parking, it's for.
But that's your like hub because it's close. So.
I try not to. I do everything I can to stay out of there. You know, I will go there on the rare exception, but before I go, I make sure my inspection's done. I make sure that all my windows are rolled up so they can't check my tints. I make sure
that town's gotten good though. It's
turn itself around.
Oh yeah,
big time.
I remember when it was sort of like East Beirut, which is what Bayshore used to look like.
Not a good area.
Yeah,
a lot of money. Well, the trains help bring in business.
Yeah, the trains, the whole renovation, that whole upper down.
Ronkonkoma was about to explode.
Yeah, that's next.
Curious to see how that's going to affect everything. A lot of angry homeowners already.
Well, it's NIMBY. So, my friend just bought an old building that was a service station and a repair shop for years.
Okay.
It had been closed, and people that live behind it, and this is his third repair shop or fourth repair shop. So.
Sure.
The people that live behind it started giving him grief. You're running cars at 7:00 at night. He's like, I'm wrapping up. I'm closing down, whatever. You leave, this, that, the other.
Should be happy it's not 10:00 at night.
Well, then, and they actually NIMBY that whole thing, and they're in an unincorporated village somewhere.
What is it, NIMBY?
Not in my backyard. You didn't hear? You never
no,
heard that
I never
one?
heard of that.
You got a new one today.
Yeah.
NIMBY, not in my backyard. Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's the naysayers, the people that don't want the change or whatever it is. They were having problems with the town code enforcement people, this, that, and the other thing. And he found a whole bunch of pictures on the internet from what this place used to look like when those people still lived there. And he's like, they went to a meeting and they were like, what about all this? This wasn't a problem back then. Well, they're older now. They're grumpier now. So they're
old now. They're grumpier.
Yeah, I can't believe this. So they're working it out. But he's like, I own a repair shop. I'm gonna have cars.
I own a repair shop, and I'm running a business, and I'm not even bothering you. It's not like kids are running around here at 11:00 at night. We're not cranking cars out. That drives me nuts. Yeah, but that's why I'm tucked away in this little studio, and nobody bothers me. Mm-hmm. Nobody bothers me. Most people don't even know I'm here. That's the way I like to roll.
There's no sign out front. It's pretty cool. It's like
no sign.
The mystery, mystery bag.
I don't. The less people know that I'm here, the better. Not that it's not conducive to foot traffic, but I don't mind having people in here. But the people that need to come here know where to go, and the people that don't know
don't need it.
Don't need to know.
Right. This is a great garage door kind of place, though.
That's it.
It really is.
That's it. Just a little slice of heaven, and home. Home for myself is a mile away, and home for the guy John is like 3/4, half mile away.
That's beautiful.
So I mean, you really can't beat it. It's out of the house. I talked about this, I think, on the last episode, but kicking ain't work done at home.
No,
at least in my opinion.
Well, you can't. I have a home office, and I've had a home office for years, so it's a structure thing. You have to have the structure to do it.
For me, I leave the house. I go to work. Nobody bothers me. If they need a favor, they call me. They let me know. I'm out of the house again. There's no nothing. Mm-hmm. That's the way I look at it.
That works great.
So
that works great. Yeah, home offices are an interesting thing. I know a lot of people that can't function in a home office. And again, it depends upon your environment and your age.
Sure.
If you got kids, it's tough.
Sure.
If you're by yourself,
I got siblings that worse.
Yeah. Well, same thing. If you've got structure and you've got commitment, you're going to do it. But it's tough. You got to have discipline. You got to be able to say, I need to accomplish X, Y, Z today.
Sure.
And I'm not stopping until I accomplish X, Y, Z today.
Sure.
So
sure.
That's where I'm at. I've had a home office now for 10 years.
So always worked out good. It's important.
I have a laptop. I can be anywhere.
Yes. Well, I can take this thing and move it wherever I need, but
Right. Well, this is
difficult.
Right.
Actually, it's funny because before we end this thing up, because we're at an hour and 25 here. So,
oh, cool.
I fit this entire setup in that little orange box down there, and obviously not the table. So I went away for 9 days, and I was going to. I was like, look, if I meet somebody, I want to have all my podcasting equipment with me. So I'm actually, one of my goals in the near future is to have a portable podcasting setup.
Cool.
So that way, maybe it's not the most desirable looking location, but if I meet somebody and they can't meet me here and I'm out traveling,
why not?
I could bang out a podcast. I'm going to get a little bit bigger box than that and do the nice foam cutouts and all that kind of stuff and really, treat myself in the next setup. But for an on the go, because one of my goals, hopefully one day when this thing starts to just generate enough revenue, I can go travel wherever I want and do podcasts. Callie, oh, you want to do a podcast? Yeah, let's do it right now.
Let's right now.
You got a conference room? Great, let's do it.
All right.
That's the ultimate goal. So
that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So
this is a great setup, though.
Thanks,
I love
man.
this. This
much
was
appreciated.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Hour and 27, baby.
Wow.
That's it.
We need to push it to 1:30, or is it?
No, well, you gotta give your closing remarks. How do people get in touch with you? I don't recommend phone numbers unless you got a corporate number, but definitely email or websites or however they visit you or find out about you.
Well, it's Todd R TODDR at TABNY.com is my alternative board email.
Sure.
And then I'm Todd at calmwaters.net. So it's TODD at CALMWATERS.net. And that's the business valuation business. What else did you want me to tell you?
That's pretty much it.
All right.
Any social media or anything like that?
No, it's again,
okay.
that's why I need to get. I'm the old guy. I'm learning so much from people your age, 20-year-olds,
Sure,
30-year-olds. And I believe that social media is the future. You need to be visible. You need to be relevant. You need to be authentic.
Sure.
In order to get people to understand you. And like I said when I started, my passion is helping people. So
sure.
I'd love to help anybody that needs the help, that is willing to have a conversation to see if it makes sense to have another conversation or to jump into that pool. And I'll be more than happy to do a core value analysis for 18 questions, 15 minutes with any business owner and see if there's anything that I could do to help you. So
I love it. Thanks for coming on, brother.
All right. It's a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for having me, Harrison.
Always welcome back.
All right.
Done. That's done. Let me just stop the live stream here.
Quick hour and a half.
It flies.